It's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it is Christmas time. Well, almost. But if you're like me, then you start celebrating early in December, maybe even November. I mean, who's to say? But regardless, it's now time to get in the Christmas spirit. Christmas songs are playing on the radio, and Christmas movies are starting to play on TV, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. If that hat didn't already tip you off. Hello everyone, I'm Court McGinley and welcome back to the most amazing top 5. Sit back, subscribe, and let me entertain you. Now before we get started on this list, I want to know, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Let me know your answer down in the comments. Alright, let's get started on this list of the top 5 best Christmas movies. But before we get started, I just want to say there are hundreds of amazing Christmas movies out there, and I can only mention 5. So if your favorite one isn't mentioned, I'm sorry in advance. So I had a list of like 15 movies and everyone in the office helped me narrow it down. And Rudolph and Frosty aren't on this list just because they are classics, so they automatically are added on. Like, what Christmas character is better than Yukon Cornelius? Come on. Alright, let's get started. In our number 5 spot, we have Miracle on 34th Street. The original movie came out in 1947, but the remake we are all more familiar with, starring Mara Wilson, came out in 1994. This movie is the perfect way to start off the holiday season. This movie shows us that if you truly believe, then anything is possible. It takes place in New York, and at the beginning of the movie, we get to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and the movie ends on Christmas Day. We follow around 6-year-old Susan, who doesn't believe in Santa Claus because her mother told her a long time ago that he wasn't real. Susan's mother, what were you thinking? But luckily, meeting a special department store Santa named Kris Kringle, Susan's mindset started to change. Throughout the movie, a competing department store manages to get Kris behind bars, stating that he's dangerous and crazy because he truly believes that he's the real Santa Claus. The whole community comes together to support Kris, as they too believe he's Santa Claus, and he ends up winning the case. The original film did so well that it won Academy Awards for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Writing, Original Story, and Best Writing Screenplay. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure you check it out. In our number 4 spot, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Now, we have the animated and live action version, both of which are great. The animated movie came out in 1966, and the live action movie came out in 2000. The animated movie was a musical TV special based on the written book of Dr. Seuss. It tells the story of the Grinch who lives up in the mountains in a cave on Mount Crumpet, and he's hated Christmas for the past 53 years. Every year, the town below him of Whoville decorates and sings, and he can no longer take it. So on Christmas Eve, he even tries to take away Christmas from the town folks of Whoville by stealing their trees, presents, and Who hash. He thinks without all of their things, they will be miserable just like he is. However, as we all know, Christmas spirit is in our hearts. So the Who's start to sing, and the Grinch realizes the true meaning of Christmas. Then we hear the famous line, "Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store, maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more." And he slides down the mountain, returns their stuff, and has Christmas dinner with them. In the live action movie, the Grinch follows the same storyline, only they dive deeper into the Grinch's backstory and explain why he hates Christmas so much. And then you see him as a baby, and he's so darn cute. And in this movie, he and Cindy Lou Who have more interaction. In the live action movie, Jim Carrey plays the Grinch, and he does an amazing job. I couldn't imagine anyone else being able to pull off this character the way he did. And at number 3, The Santa Claus. This movie came out in 1994, and it stars Tim Allen. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to watch it because it is so great, and it just embodies Christmas. This movie is followed by 2 sequels, The Santa Claus 2 and The Santa Claus 3 Escape the Claus. So in this movie, Tim Allen plays a divorced father named Scott Calvin. And when he inadvertently kills Santa on Christmas Eve, he is then recruited to be the new Santa. He and his son Charlie go on the roof. They see 8 reindeer and a sleigh, and then they see there are instructions for Scott to put on the Santa Claus suit. So with a lot of begging from his son, he does. And then they hop on the sleigh and deliver presents, and then they are transported to the North Pole. The next morning, Scott wakes up, and at first he thinks it was all a dream. But over the next several months, he starts to gain weight and grows a white beard. Once Scott realizes there is no escaping this, he gets to work. Charlie is proud that his dad is the new Santa Claus, so he tells his mother. Charlie's mom thinks her ex-husband is crazy and takes full custody of Charlie. Christmas Eve rolls around yet again, and Charlie then sneaks off with his dad to deliver presents, which results in Scott, aka Santa, getting arrested. But don't worry, the elves break him out using tinsel. Did you know it's not just for decoration? This movie is funny, and it really talks about the Christmas spirit. And at the end of the movie, everyone believes in the true meaning of Christmas, as it should be. Coming in at our number 2 spot, A Christmas Story. This movie came out in 1983. It's a classic. I watch this movie every every Christmas Eve with my family, it's a tradition we have. Also, this past summer I went to Cleveland and actually visited the house that this movie was filmed in. It was so exciting. And if any of you want to see what that house looks like in real life, then you can head over to my vlog channel at Courtney McGinley Vlogs, and while you're there, if you want to subscribe, it would make my day. I'm currently doing Vlogmas, which is awesome. But back to the movie. It's about a 9-year-old boy named Ralphie and his family. Throughout this movie, we see Ralphie's relationships with his family, friends, and his school bullies. In this movie, we learn that Ralphie wants nothing more than a Red Ryder Air BB gun for Christmas, but everyone keeps telling him he'll shoot his eye out. Christmas morning arrives, and Ralphie ends up getting his BB gun. But the gun does end up backfiring and cuts him, so you know, the adults were right. Then the family goes out for Christmas dinner because the neighbor's dog ate theirs. They arrive at the restaurant, sit down, and then a duck's head gets chopped off right in front of them. Funny fact, the actress who plays the mother wasn't expecting them to actually chop off the head. So the screams and the laughing she does in that scene, that was all unrehearsed. Also, throughout this movie, the dad wins a major award, which turns out to be a leg lamp, which is an iconic staple of this movie. Then the movie ends with Ralphie lying in his bed on Christmas night with his gun by his side, and his parents are cuddling on the living room couch looking out the window at all the snow. And in at our number 1 spot, Home Alone 1 and 2. Yes, pretty much the best Christmas movie of all time. Both of them are so great. This is a rare occasion where the sequel is just as good as the original. But for this list, let's talk about the first one. This movie came out in 1990. And it's about a bratty 8-year-old named Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin. The night before the family's trip to Paris, Kevin starts acting out when all of his aunts, uncles, and cousins are at his house. He's sent to sleep in the bedroom on the 3rd floor by his mother, played by Catherine O'Hara. Before Kevin goes to sleep, he wishes his family would just disappear. During the night, the power goes out and the family sleeps in. Once they realize, they get up and they rush to the airport. However, they forgot something, or should I say someone very important behind. Kevin then wakes up to an empty house, and he thinks his wish to make his family disappear came true. At first, he's excited and doing everything he could never do with his family around. But things quickly turn for the worse when he realizes 2 con men are trying to rob his house. Kevin then decides he needs to defend his house, so he sets up a bunch of booby traps to scare them away. This movie is absolutely hilarious. And then at the end, when he and his mother reunite, you just bawl your eyes out because it's just so beautiful. So there you guys have it. That's a list of the top 5 best Christmas movies. I highly recommend watching all of these movies before Christmas. They're all really great. Again, there's so many more awesome Christmas movies that I wish I could have mentioned, but sadly I could only talk about 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Merry Christmas!